This is the Town of Raleigh Municipal Light Plant. And it's the January 9th, 2019 meeting. Citizens query from 7 p.m. to 7:10 p.m. Review and accept previous meeting minutes.
There is no minutes tonight, so is there anybody want to ask any questions in Citizens Query?
Just basically keep in mind also that this is being recorded.
I got one thing. Brian DePersia, 500 Weathersfield Street. Just so the board is aware, on January 26th, in a few weeks here, there's going to be a Massachusetts Climate Action Network summit in Groton, and everybody's more than welcome to be invited to that. It's on Saturday, it's on a weekend, but it's a good opportunity to interface with some other municipalities in the state, other MLPs. Some of the topics on that organizational event are going to be beneficial electrification and how it can help the communities. So if anybody's interested in that, I can get you information on RSVPing and attending the event.
What was that date again?
January 26th, Saturday.
And it's going to be where, Brian?
It's in Groton.
Groton? Do you know whereabouts in Groton?
I don't have location off the top of my head, but yeah, it's
There's a website for it, I take it?
Mm-hmm. Massachusetts Climate Action Network.
Okay.
I don't know where they're going, but they're
Number
headed
3?
somewhere. Yeah, number 3 is Raleigh Solar LLC, updated on project.
All right.
Tom Beatrice for Raleigh Solar LLC. We're here tonight with a representative from Envalion, Tom Wool, and the on-site construction manager at this point. Sure. And jack of all trades, TJ Murphy.
That's correct.
My understanding is the project is proceeding along on schedule. Although there was an issue raised today with respect by the planning board. I got an email at 5:30 that I didn't get to see till after 6. But there was a question about the installation of the light poles. Not sure what that's all about, to be perfectly frank with you. But other than that, as far as we're concerned, we're on schedule.
Counselor, may I interject?
Yeah.
You're talking about the light poles. I understand on the site plan, the poles, there's 6 poles been placed out there, and I understand that it was supposed to be underground conduit placed, well, 1 pole and underground conduit, and we have 6 poles out there.
Yeah, that's correct. The light department set 6 poles.
Right, but on the site plan, I understand that it calls for underground conduit in 1 pole.
I can attempt to answer that. So normally on site plans, when you're putting together these solar systems, the actual interconnection piece, how you interface with the utility, is to be determined after the site is permitted. So then normally what happens is the utility will tell you how they want to interconnect the system through, according to the ISA, and they have to prove it through their engineering. So we went through that process, sat down and had discussions with Raleigh Light, and came up with the plan for equipment that they normally use and purchase. So it's more of like a safety factor at that point, and understanding that you have replacement parts and materials on site. So they wanted to use above ground poles, so it's stuff that they're normally used to dealing with.
Okay, so, I can accept your explanation, but it's not on the site plan.
Well, we'll do the as-built that will show that, but when we did actually following that, we had a construction set made, which went through a review with Raleigh Light, we sat down and had a review.
I-
Everyone was present. That was clearly shown on that plan set that everyone had.
That's between the light plant and Raleigh Solar. But through the planning board, the site plan, that is what is supposed to be expected as the plan out in the field.
That would be between Raleigh Solar and the planning board, I think.
Yeah, and
Rather
I,
than Raleigh Solar and
Oh, well,
and the commissioners, to be perfectly frank.
But if it's not on the site plan, the poles shouldn't have been placed.
well, then that's on me, not on the
Yeah.
Raleigh Solar, so.
Okay, now,
I've
also,
been, excuse me
Okay.
for a minute, I've been invited to the planning board meeting tonight too,
Okay.
so we can address this with the planning board.
okay,
So I plan on attending the planning board meeting directly after this meeting, because I've been invited by
okay.
the town planner.
Just,
Thank you, Dan.
just to clarify, it would be very simple just to have the planning board approve amended plans to reflect the 4 or 5 light poles. That'd be a simple thing to do, but it's up to the board.
Well, furthermore, I guess I want to say is that this coming up at this point in time seems a little out of order to me, because we actually had a part of the order of conditions, which is the requirements of what needs to happen for the construction, sequencing, and build. It wasn't required that it was below ground, number one.
Okay,
And-
I'm pointing this out because I'm an old planning
Yeah.
board guy. You remember, Tom?
But number
I
two,
do,
everyone
yes.
reviewed, we did a page flip with the planning board, with
Okay.
the town engineer, with Raleigh Light present, with Raleigh Solar present, with the construction company present. We sat for 2 hours and went through the page, a page turn, page by page by page. Nothing came up and everything was, say, this is a good plan.
Now, is it supposed to be 6 poles or is it supposed to be underground?
It's supposed to be
As
6
the
poles as far as
connection.
I'm concerned. Yeah, 6
Okay.
poles is what.
And my
was
concern,
discussed.
my other concern, I got 40 years in this business, okay? The poles that were placed out there, they look like they're 50 feet, not even 50, I think 50 feet apart, okay?
Right.
Is there this extremely heavy plant that's being placed on these poles?
No, it's basically to combine the plant in a small area, so we didn't extend the poles out beyond, so people could, they're close to the road, so we minimize the sight
Okay,
of the poles to that short area.
okay, because I'm used to, 100 feet between poles
Yeah, but we kept it close, I mean, the developer's gonna go underground from the last pole.
from the last pole.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. It's very common. I mean, if most solar sites, this is the standard interconnection application that's almost every utility takes.
Why again, I gotta ask, why didn't we come all the way down to the first pole and to go underground in? Try to be not as evasive.
It's where the utility interfaces with the actual solar system. It's really up to the utility how they want to interface with the solar.
I can probably answer that better. This is equipment that Raleigh Light uses every single day. It's equipment we have in the warehouse. It's easily be replaceable. If you go underground, then the equipment that we have to order would be specialized equipment, and it would be long lead times if something happened.
Okay.
It would be basically irreplaceable unless we have to order stock to replace it. If we go overhead, then we have the poles, we have the wire, we have the cutouts, we have the air brakes, we have all that stuff in stock, so it's easily replaceable.
Okay, I wanna voice these concerns, that's my job. Okay,
It's gonna come up in about a half hour
okay.
upstairs.
Anybody else have anything?
Well, my concern is I have the.
Identify yourself, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry, Gregory Castronis, 539 Weathersfield Street. And I've talked to the field man, I just have to say, he's an asset to the town at this point. I think this company would be an asset. My concern is seeing that plan, okay, that's an approved plan. What's on that approved plan calls for 1 pole and no other poles, and everything underground. So as an abutter, and I as a town resident, see this plan, that's what I expect. Now I know I'm not privy to meetings meetings that are going on behind the scenes, but that's what I expect. I don't technically have a problem with the 6 poles. The other neighbors may, because they have to look at them. But my concern is now there's 6. I'm told that everything's going on the ground. I'm afraid there's going to be poles lining up all along my property line. Now, my understanding it's not going to be, and that's fine, but that's my concern, that's what the neighbor's concern is going to be. When you see something, that's what you expect. You know what I mean? That's the way we handle things. When you see a plan, I see this plan, I expect it to be adhered to the T. I don't expect anything going on that's, I don't have a problem with it, but that's what I expect, because if this is going on, well, what else is gonna happen? There's things in this plan that I expect to happen, and if it's not gonna happen, then I'm very upset about it.
Tom Beatrice, Raleigh Solar, it's my understanding that that's the limit of the poles. The six
Yes,
that are
the
there.
6 poles is the limit,
But there'll
that's
be no
it.
more poles.
No.
Thank you.
Well, again, I have a concern to the 6, I have a concern more, excuse me, I don't really have a concern to the 6. I can't really see the 6, so, but, you know, but I was afraid I was gonna see 100 all along my property line out to the back solar panel farm. That was my concern.
Right.
Because the plan doesn't show that, I don't want it. So I won't object to the 6 if that's what, you know, TJ and you guys decide on, and the planning boards decide on, and I'm assuming that it's part of the project, because it's on private property, and you know, the taxpayers aren't gonna be paying for this, that the company's gonna be paying for it. I don't have a concern, but I think the neighbors are gonna have a concern, because 1 is 1 and 6 is 6. And I'll leave it at that.
Was the planning board made aware of this, the change?
Absolutely. So they, as I said, we had to go through a sit-down meeting to have the full construction plan set reviewed and approved by the town engineer, by the planning board. Had to have everybody sign off, essentially. So before we started the project, those plans had to be approved. Those plans specifically had everything on there.
So the planning board, the town planner,
Town engineer, Larry, acting
Larry,
engineer.
as the town engineer, they were
Council was
all, they
present.
were all made aware of this?
RMLP was present. Yeah, it was a meeting.
Okay.
It was a
All right,
Saturday
I
table.
mean, my concern is that we have a site plan, but doesn't show this, okay?
My concern is, it's already been disclosed and it's come up basically last minute, which is not unusual for the way this project has been addressed by
Okay.
not this particular department, but other departments.
Okay.
Not unusual.
It shouldn't be a surprise. Who was at the meeting for you guys?
I believe Mark and
Mark
Mark's
was there. So Raleigh Light Department was there as well.
Well, I understand, but I'm just thinking of the overall project, okay? Because there's different entities involved here.
Mhm.
Okay.
But that'll be addressed by the planning board, as I said, at 7:30 or shortly thereafter, I'm sure.
Well, you're beyond 7:30 at this point.
Yeah.
No, it's
So,
7:15.
7:15.
Okay.
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 Got 15 minutes to spare.
Okay, well, if we want, we can, do you wanna move on to the next item, or number 4? Or is everybody all set?
I'm good with the update.
Number 4, Bob?
Number 4 is community solar discussion.
Okay, we just wanted to have a general discussion about community solar. There's been a lot of talk around town and on social media about community solar, and some people feel like they've been ill-informed about the community solar program, and we just wanted to have a general discussion about it, what it is, what it's all about. So I'll ask TJ to kind of address the community solar piece, because it's the community solar part of this project is the Raleigh Light Department Community Solar Project. It's not, it's, yes, it has something to do with developer, but it also has something to do with Raleigh Light, so I'll kind of address the,
I'll let you talk first. If any questions, I'll answer.
Okay, sure. So I'm not quite sure what everyone's looking for, but I mean, so community solar, in a nutshell, is for communities to be able to take part in developing green energy solar systems, where the community can take part in sharing in receiving credits from that asset, or just simply saying that they want to, be involved in the offtake of that asset. So we've set up the community solar when we first approached Raleigh Solar for this project. Raleigh Municipal Light. It was determined that this would be a great project for the town to show that they want to have a community solar project in the town, and I think there's been an overwhelming response. We've had over 260 people without really doing much outreach. It was just the simple mailer that went out in the flyers, the flyers that went out in the mailer that described the system, and we've had a very good response, which I think has driven some of the questions like, why can't everyone take place in it, in this program? And really to answer that is because it's a small system. So essentially what happens is in a typical community solar setup, the town or the utility will have a large-scale solar system which disperses credits that are put back on the grid from that solar system. So basically the solar system puts watts back onto the grid, and then those credits that come back are dispersed to people's meters per se, or their billing cycle. That's typically how community solar works. And in this case, whoever signed up, the 260 people have expressed interest. Essentially what we'll do is we'll divvy up those people between the amount of credits. This is a 1,500 kilowatt system, so we will split that up between the parties based upon their annual usage, and they will get a small credit annually for partaking in the system. And if we wanted to make this available to everyone, that credit would basically decrease. It would become very, very small if you had to spread that out across everybody. So there's only so much to go around, and if you wanted to spread it out across all of the citizens of Raleigh, then it's possible. It would just be a very, very tiny credit.
Well, I could see what somebody would come forward and just might say, why can't I join the program?
Well, so when we first launched the program, we typically in other municipalities we will have a pre-sign up before the solar system is constructed. But given the timing of everything, we just could not predict the volume of interest that we had.
Okay, so in other communities where you've had this program, people, how would you just say that's a cutoff point and that's it?
That is correct. Yes.
It's simply an opt-in system. First come, first served.
Like it's just.
This was discussed, it was
I know.
approved by the commission a long time ago,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
The real answer is you can build more solar.
We could.
Weird.
I don't know. The sites, communities do it all over the place. There's a lot of communities who their goal is 100% clean energy, and they're striving to achieve it. So it is possible, but that's essentially to really have this make sense. That would be the solution: is to build more solar, or other renewable assets.
Oh, go ahead.
So at this time, with the number that you're saying, we've got about 260 customers that are interested in joining that program. It doesn't look like we'd be able to take any further in that program at this time. Is that fair to say? If we leave the program as is, as you
Yeah,
have
so
described.
let's say the average customer uses, somewhere between 5 to 10 kilowatts per year. If you multiply that by the 260 customers, that puts us over the 1,500 kilowatts of credits available to disperse.
Right.
The more that we saturate that with customers, the smaller the net disbursement becomes.
Correct.
And it's, if everyone just wants to say that they're part of the program, that could be arranged, but it just, at that point, it becomes diminishing returns, because then it becomes more of a management nightmare.
So if you have, say, 265, okay, and you have 5 customers out there that wish to be part of the program, okay, but the cutoff is at 260, hypothetical, okay, and now are we going to maintain those other 5 customers, the list of them? So if somebody moves out of town and they're one of the 260, does the 261 now move up into the
Short answer,
list?
yes. We'll maintain a list of people
We will
that,
maintain a list.
if someone moves out of town, if someone decides they don't want to participate anymore, they'll be taken off the list, and whoever is on the waiting list will be moved into that spot.
I'm bringing this up because the people out there are thinking
Sure.
this, so
Yeah, yeah.
just
And
as a hypothetical.
From our perspective, we want to be as inclusive as possible. We don't know what new incentive programs are out there. If there's another opportunity down the road to be a part of Rally again, we'd be more than happy to include additional participants in the future.
Yeah, the next program that's released, the SMART program for municipalities has not been finalized at this moment, but there could be an opportunity where something could come of that program where we could offer more solar if it makes sense, gets approved to be built. There could be some opportunities to present some more community solar to Raleigh if that's what their desire is.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you'd say 260 participants is probably the cap? Or
I mean, if it makes more sense to pick a number and just say this is it, that's fine. We can do that, and we just basically have to, then average out what the credit is going to be, or what that customer is. I mean, some of these 260 people might only use 5,000 a year. So let's say if that's the case, then we might be a little light. Maybe the number will go up a little bit. The key is how do you basically disperse those credits? There's nothing magical about it. We could say it's 400 customers if we wanted to, and just give everyone a little bit of a less credit. You tell us what you wish to do, and that can happen.
So you're expecting it to be, is it a percentage of an individual's bill, or are we looking at a fixed kilowatt hour credit that would be on a monthly based
Normally
on production
in the
system?
community solar, what they'll do is they'll strive for about 80% of that customer's annual bill. If you were trying to really balance and you had enough community solar to go around for everybody, you normally don't want to have more credits than you have customers, so you usually go for a little bit less than their normal annual usage, so that way you're never in an oversubscribed situation. Or
May I make a suggestion? Maybe you can prioritize, and maybe the senior citizens who have difficulty paying their bills, maybe they could be the priority of your credits, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the cat's out of the,
Oh, but maybe
Out of the
they can
bank
still, maybe you can still make, okay, we'll give it to the seniors. I'm just saying as a suggestion, because maybe they have difficulty paying their electric bill, and if they get a little credit, it might help them. Just a suggestion.
That could be something our company would make a charitable contribution at the completion of this
You
project.
know what I mean? So if you're working, you can pay it, but if you get Social Security, maybe it's a struggle. I'm just a suggestion.
Our next item on the agenda here, we're kind of getting out of line a little bit here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is item 5, and it's
number 5, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
2019 operations and maintenance budget we've got to work on next.
So, sorry.
No worries.
And I'll hand you out the capital
He's
budget.
going to need this a lot, so he's going to have 2.
Thank you.
thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank
TJ.
you.
And that's the capital budget, so we'll
Okay?
open more.
You want this back?
No, you can have that. Those.
Where do these people come from? Where do these people come from? Thinking they can
Raleigh.
Well, that's the problem. They're in the marsh every day.
So the, what I just handed out is the 2019 Raleigh Miss Plant O&M budget for 2019. As they generally do, I will hand this out in January for the budget for the calendar year of 2019. So it's something that I do need a vote on for the operations, maintenance, and capital budget. So look it over. If you have any questions, let me know. Look it over, then we can talk for a few minutes after this, and I can kind of explain.
I think it will, that, for me at least, when it'll come to is when they get finished upstairs. I mean, if they want to play around up there, that's fine. But you're not going to play around with us down here.
Yeah.
All right.
basically, just an overview, quick overview of the budget. So basically what I did this year is, seeing as power supply has become such a large portion of the budget, I had to increase the power supply expense by quite a bit, and basically level funded everything else, or decrease the budget line item to basically accomplish getting the purchase power price up in the budget, without being silly and increasing the revenue by so much that. See, the whole idea is to keep the revenue as low as, not as low as possible, but keep the rates as low as possible, so that customers can basically, it's affordable, reliable service.
Right.
So I have to balance that with this expenditures of the budget and being basically able to pay the power supply cost.
And that is up to the general manager to look at the power supply and then,
Right.
yeah.
Right, so I mean, that's basically what I've done with the budget is increase the power supply number, level funded most other line items that I could, decreased a few line items that I could, and basically added in a 2.75% increase for the employees on July 1.
How much the power supply increased, Bob? I mean, Dan.
Basically, it's not, so in a nutshell, it's not the actual wholesale amount it's gone up, because we're hedged on our power supply needs, probably about 82% for 2019.
Okay.
That is not the issue. What the issue is transmission cost and local network service cost from National Grid that's increased dramatically. And those have increased, the transmission costs have increased. Transmission costs used to be roughly 3 cents to 4 cents a kilowatt hour on my bill, or basically on the total number of kilowatt hours sold. Now it's 6 to 8 cents. So it's doubled basically. The transmission costs have doubled over the last year. And that's basically the reason for the large increase in the purchase power. That increase is stepping down over the next few years. We saw the largest portion of it from June of last year till July of last year, and then it stepped down a little bit from July of 18 to June of 19, and then it'll step down a little bit more from July of 19 to June of 20.
Okay.
But it remains high, because they're on, and that's the other issue, they're on a fiscal year on the FCM costs, and we're on a calendar year on our budget cycle. So it makes it a little difficult to predict the following year on the purchase power. The other cost is the transmission cost, the local network service cost, which National Grid is basically charging us to get the power from over their lines to the substation on Danes Road.
Dan, I have a question. if you
Sure.
don't mind. What impact do you expect from the solar plant that goes online to help curb a little bit of that transmission? Any of that factored in?
It's a little bit, yes, and only because we peak around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon. Solar is generally peaking 2 to 3, 2 to 4 at maximum in the summer. Last year we peaked August 28th, I think it was, which the sun's starting to get a little bit lower, and really the solar it does contribute, don't get me wrong, but not to the maximum we really need it. So that's.
Yeah, the daylight in the afternoon is around 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're not using much from there out to where you pick it up in the morning
Right.
and go back the other way.
Yeah, the system peak has actually been pushed a little bit later because of solar.
What are we looking, do you think, next year for power, for needs? Do you think will be an increase? This year, 2019?
No, I mean, this year I've hedged everything to about 82% this year.
Okay.
So we've got pretty much everything locked up. We're only exposed probably, by 18% to the wholesale market. And the wholesale market, as I said in the beginning, it's not really the problem because wholesale prices 90% of the time, on average, 3 to 4 cents. There are certain hours that, let's say on August 28th, when there's a system peak, real hot day, the system does spike, but it only lasts a short amount of time. And we are not exposed to that on 100% of our supply because we're hedged 82%. We're only exposed to that short 12%, 18% that we're all actually open to the market.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on the?
Nothing I can think of right off the top.
Okay. So the capital budget. Do you want to take these separately and vote on them separately? Do you want to vote them as one item, or does it matter to you?
I think we vote on one item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
So you all have a copy of the capital budget. Basically, the capital budget is the same as last year except for one item. Transportation, I increased the transportation account because we need to buy a new bigger truck. So that's the transportation, or 392 is 250,000 for a new truck. And that still is, the EV is still in there because I have not purchased that yet. So I having difficulty getting somebody to get a test drive with, and I'm using our new EV program as kind of so I'm dealing with them to see how the program works, and so it's been a little bit of a learning curve for the company and myself. So that's basically, it's the same as it was last year except for the transportation expense.
Okay. I'm good with both, thank you.
Yeah, it's fine. Things have changed in the last couple of years. Our first bucket truck and our first digger truck, the digger truck was free, and the bucket truck was being replaced by the people that own it.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended at the end, which we had a small wooden ladder bucket truck.
I still have that picture in the conference room in the office.
Yep, it was there.
Yep.
So could I make a motion to accept the, let's see here, O&M budget and capital budgets for 2019?
I'll second that.
I'll second it still, so.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Cool. What else have we got?
I'm all set with that. If you want to move on to the next one.
That's right.
Number 6.
Number 6, huh? I'm not even sure what number 6 is. What's this LIENS?
Oh, number 6 is RMLP customer liens.
Okay, so we're getting our money back.
Right.
I'll check that one off.
So, do you want to start, or do you want to?
Well, one thing, and I just talked to Dan about this, and this was brought up to me. Other departments, if you don't pay your bill on time, there's a late fee. Now, as I understand it, talking to Dan, DPU does not permit light bills to any late fees, correct?
We're not allowed to charge interest on
Charged
any
interest.
arrears, yeah.
Not, okay, not late fees, but interest
Right.
on, okay,
Right.
all right, just,
So the only avenue we have really to collect from customers is by shut-off or by liening property owners. Generally, shut-offs are, March through November, and then any customer that owns their property who's 90 days past due or more will generally look at liening. This time of year, the liens go out because the tax bills go out so we can lien people and not have to pay the $150 for the registration fees.
Right.
So the customers, when we lien this time of year, we don't charge the customer the $150 for the lien fee. So we can, so the customer's actually not really benefiting, but they're not getting charged that extra $150 for the recording fee. If we lien off cycle, then we charge the customers the extra $150 to actually record the lien at the registry of deeds.
Okay. So where do we stand with the liens right now?
The liens went on the tax bill. The tax bills went out. As far as payment goes, we probably have to wait until people start paying the tax bills.
When are there still any liens out there? I mean, any fees not being paid?
As far as liens go, or as far as just arrears?
Arrears.
There are. I mean, because we can't lien renters, so the renters are the majority of the issues that we have with past due balances, because this time of year a lot of people realize that we can't shut them off because of heating concerns. So some customers don't pay their bill.
Because of DPU regulations.
That's correct.
Okay.
You can only go so far, and it's not very far at all
Okay.
when those things start.
Okay.
So you got to be careful, but you can get some of it back.
Yeah, we do our best to follow the DPU regulations as closely as possible.
You really need to do that. Follow what they're telling you to do.
Okay.
The only way you get away with it is when the dog bites you.
Okay. Number 7?
Number 7. Got a 7 there? Appointment of new somebody.
So, just so the public knows, I am retiring March 1st, and I believe, what was it, August, I informed the board, I was retiring, and we started the process of hiring a new general manager. We hired a consultant to help us with that process. The process has concluded last week with the final interviews of 3 candidates, and I'll let the board take it from there.
Okay.
So we conducted our final interviews last Friday, which was the 5th, is that correct? Fourth.
That's right.
All 3 of the candidates were well qualified. I did like all 3, but in the end, it really came down to one, and I believe we are looking to make Matt Brown the next general manager of the Rowley Municipal Light Department to take over for Dan, and that would be effective March 4th.
That's correct.
So I go along with Kevin. This was very difficult. We had 3 great candidates, and it came down to just minute little things, and Matt shined.
He did.
He did.
We actually had way more than 3 great candidates.
Yes,
but,
that's true.
But
That's
in
true.
whittling it down,
Whittling down.
we've got to make it smaller and smaller and smaller. It came
Yeah.
down to those 3, and yeah, I did feel that Matt was the strongest candidate from all of them.
Yeah.
You know, he has the networking, he has a desire to serve not only, you know, the light board and what we do here, but the citizens of Rowley, and looks forward to learning and working with all the citizens. So I'm excited for Matt's
Yeah. Very,
Matt's
very
arrival
exciting.
here. So I guess we need to make a motion to appoint Matt Brown as the new general manager of the Rowley Municipal Light Plant.
Is that a motion?
Is it?
Might as well be.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah, you can make a motion.
Do I, Bob? You tell me.
You want to make a motion? Go for it, guy.
Should we make a motion on it? I think we need to
Yes,
appoint
I
him,
think so.
correct?
Yes.
So I would make a motion to appoint Matthew Brown as the new general manager of the Rowley Municipal Light Department effective March 4th, 2019.
And I will second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 So the final order of business is the contract, the manager's contract, which Matt has signed and gotten to me today, so it's a perfect opportunity for the commissioners to sign it as well.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
I know there was one change that was proposed to that.
There was one change that was proposed by by Matt and his attorney, and we passed it by our attorney, and our attorney was fine with the change.
Okay, very good.
As usual is my question.
There's the top.
Okay.
Down the hall?
Where did I see that disappear to? Must be on the back one, huh?
Yep.
Last page.
Last page.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And I am very happy that that is done.
Yes, sir.
You know what, it's nerve-wracking in a way.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was, because they were all good.
Yeah, they were all good. They were all good. And our consultant was outstanding, I've gotta say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
John was just.
John was
He
excellent.
knocked it out of the park, he really did.
He really did. Yeah, he was good. Dan, thank you for finding John for us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It helps when you've dealt with somebody before
Yeah.
to see how they do, and so he was great when we used him for
Yeah.
for the NEPA board of directors. So previous knowledge of somebody generally always helps.
Yep.
Next time, for the next meeting, could we have a discussion on batteries, with municipality? We've talked about we had talked about generation over the past 3 years, and something on the idea of Sterling, I would think. That sound good, Kevin?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Anything else that I should know about for the February meeting, so I can put on the posting?
I would almost invite Matt to either attend in the audience. I don't know if he wants to, or if he cares to, but at least it would be
Yeah, I think it would be
beneficial
nice
for
for
him
people
to
to
see
Okay.
how
have
things work.
a small meet and greet.
I understand
on
maybe you
TV.
can't make it based on, work schedule, so on and so forth
Constraints
right now,
now.
but
Yeah.
at least to extend the invitation to him.
Seeing we're going into a new manager, do you think the board should stay the same with the way it is, or should we think about it?
Oh,
Well, we can put it on there and discuss it next time.
Okay, I'll put it on
Sure.
just a general discussion on board makeup.
Generals, yeah,
Okay.
okay,
sure.
all right.
I can't think of anything else I really want to talk about. I assume that Bonnie would give us a update on the status of the solar at that time.
Yeah.
It should be near completion, is that correct?
Yes, completion date should be February 21st. Supposed to be anyway.
So we'll be nearing that window.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And it'll be your last meeting, too.
Yes, it will.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.